introduced. My name is James Ross. I work at a firm in Midtown and a couple partners there, and we've done quite a few projects in the Sacramento area. Went to Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, and yeah, got licensed as an architect a few years later and been working there since. I wanted to go, I guess, start with just going over a project that I've worked on that some of you might be familiar with. Who's been to the Sofia or the B Street Theater? Anyone's been there? B Street Theater. So our firm designed that project, working closely with the B Street, and built it a few years, built it with the contractor a few years back. So as architects, we worked on the design of the project and worked with the B Street folks, figuring out their needs, identifying how it best fit on the site, and designed the project. So I brought in the plan sets that we used for that build. So a lot of drawings went into that, but it's not just architectural drawings. As architects, we hire a team of engineers that work for us, with us on the projects. So we had structural engineer, mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, someone designed the plumbing systems. Since it was a theater, we had a team that worked on like the audio-visual aspects of it, and some of the functional things that are unique to theaters, like the things that we didn't know. It's okay not to know things. If you can create a team that knows a lot of information, you can work together to get something built that's pretty cool. Like I wouldn't have been able to tell you like how tall the catwalk should be off the stage or stuff like that. And so we had a team of theater experts also work with us on the project. So that's kind of an earlier kind of rendering we did. So our firm doesn't do any physical model making. I know we did a fair amount of physical model making in school, but nowadays we're just modeling things in 3D digitally. I'm sure you kids or guys have done like Minecraft or different games where you've modeled things in 3 dimensions, right? So we do the same thing with other programs, modeling the design of a building.
Just scroll up.
Scroll?
Yeah.
Do you guys know what a floor plan? You talked about a floor plan at all? Right, so a floor plan is a horizontal like cut through a building. Sounds like you're going to be possibly drawing some floor plans after this. So we kind of worked with identifying what the theater needed. So they let us know, hey, we want 2 theater spaces, varying sizes. There's a smaller one here and then the larger one. This larger one is the one that they have all the performances, the school performances in. And it's a proscenium style theater, where the other one's called a thrust theater, where the stage actually thrusts into the audience space and the audience is around the stage. So it was identifying, okay, you want 2 theaters. They want to have like a cafe component to it. There's restrooms, there's back of house spaces, there's all sorts of spaces that go into a theater, and so we worked with them to identify kind of what their needs were, and then worked on various layouts. In kind of just drawing it. There's nothing like perfect about this drawing. Kind of sketching ideas for how the theater might look, and then kind of proceeded to model those ideas in 3 dimensions that we could then take floor plan cuts or sections and elevations and other drawings. So that theater, the original kind of drawings get cut, refined further, and we started to identify really like, okay, this theater box, it has a stage that thrusts into it, so they can have a kind of more intimate kind of theater experience. The other theater is a little more traditional. You need dressing rooms, green rooms, costume rooms. There's rehearsal rooms upstairs. There's office spaces. So we worked. Good things with the folks running the theater. They really knew what they wanted in terms of the spaces. Like, hey, we need offices for this many people, or we need. One thing they really wanted a lot of restrooms. That was and it makes sense for theaters. There's an intermission. There's a kind of a finite amount of time that everyone leaves. A lot of people use the restroom. They got to come back in. So it was humorous. I've never put this many restrooms into a building before, but they wanted it, and it makes sense for them. So kind of we refined the plan, and then eventually take it to a level where we can build off of it. So when we're, as architects, we're designing, kind of creating what a building looks like, and that's kind of, visually what it looks like, how it feels to walk through. But then kind of the other end of it is creating a set of documents or drawings that someone can build from. So we're really kind of creating a map, a roadmap for how a contractor can actually build the project. Can't really do one without doing the other, right? If you just worrying about how it looks, or visually how it looks, you might not be able to get to the finish line with a contractor. So we're focusing on designing a building visually, and then kind of all the way down to like what materials we're using. For theater boxes, each of the boxes we ended up using concrete block around the boxes because it was all about acoustics in those boxes. And the theater has a bunch of concrete on the roof of each of those theater boxes. There's concrete poured on the roof because there's a hospital nearby, and the hospital has helicopters that land on the roof, and it's very loud with the helicopters. So kind of focus on all sorts of different kind of environmental aspects. I'm going to skip this page here. Let's just go to the construction. So through the process, I was able to take some pictures through the construction process. As architects, we would meet with the contractor and the owners every week, review issues that came up during construction, try to answer questions, or if we didn't know the answers to questions, work with our engineering team to figure out solutions. The theater actually has a basement under each stage. Why do you think there's a basement under the stages? Anyone have thoughts on that? Yeah.
Tornado.
Sorry?
Tornado.
Tornado, no. Not tornadoes. No tornadoes in this area. Okay, if yes.
I guess to put props or people.
So yeah. So in a performance, they might have someone fall through a trap door or come up from below. So it's for the performance aspect of it. They could also move the stage up and down depending on what the scenes they want to create. So, first step was kind of digging these basements, building up the walls, waterproofing them all. You could see the outline of the two theater boxes, right? So here's that theater that kind of has the stage that thrusts into the audience space, and here's the other one. You see the outline of where those boxes are going to go. The first level, you can see the stage design. Again, in that same model, we're just modeling things in 3D, so we can kind of zoom around the model. It helps us identify conflicts, or where maybe structural is conflicting with the mechanical duct, or it also helps us kind of explain or show a client how their space is going to look, how it's going to function. Do you remember? Yeah, sure. Here, yeah. Sorry.
One of the wings.
One on like, did you sit like up high on the wing?
No.
Or just
Like
down?
just to the side, yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, they do. I know they do concerts in there as well. Like, seen a concert in there. But yeah, it's just few more images, and then we can talk maybe about. I have brought a couple of drawing sets from a couple of different projects. That looks like we have a few tables. You can look through them, and we can kind of maybe try to find certain things in each drawing set, and kind of help you identify that. Almost anything, and go get a master's in architecture from another university or your university offers a master's program, and then you can start the work experience and exams process. But it is a combination of schooling and actual experience after school. And during that experience, you need to be working for an architect. They need to sign off on your hours. You need to have hours of work in different aspects of the profession. And so just kind of ensure that you've met all of these requirements. All right. So this is a just in general, we have. So this is that cut horizontally through the building. So all these hatch walls or hatch lines are walls going around. Does anyone know where a door is? Someone point out a door on this. Anyone get what? Yes. So the door, you're showing the door, and then you're drawing a little half circle there, or a little quarter circle, and it's showing kind of where the swing of that door is. So so you have, there's these double doors here, there's 2 doors that swing, and the reason you show the swing is, you know, if you didn't actually show the door swinging out, if you just made it thinner in the wall, you wouldn't know which way the door swung, which could affect, you know, how people exit or enter a building. Generally, in like buildings with a lot of people, you want the doors to swing in the direction that people are trying to escape the building if there's an emergency, like the path of travel. So like one of these theater boxes, all these exit doors are swinging out so you can head on out. All right, how about, see, something else here. How about stairs? Someone find stairs somewhere here? Yep, there's a stair. There's more stairs. Another stair. There's another one. Yep. Oh, yes. Extra stairs. Another stair. Great. So stairs are just from when you're looking at a stair from above, you're just seeing each tread kind of stacked. So when they're all laying down next to each other, they just come in as lines. And then when we look at like West, so that's the first floor. Second floor, we've got more. So it's a smaller bathroom, but so yeah, but it was all geared towards just making sure in those intermission times. And what V Street kind of struggled with is their old location. Has anyone been to their old location at all? They had a much smaller. The term there is poche, but you can just color the wall in. Poche the walls, and then in the windows, kind of this. At this point, simply you could just draw a couple lines, and you'd get the idea that there's a window there, solid walls.